We need answers, Greg Winters. We need answers, Bo Adams. We need answers, Sheriff Moulton. Where y'all at? I'm calling you out, and I got documented facts. These are not allegations. These are not accusations. These are facts. 88 Greg Winters. We need answers. Let's get into it. So we're going to jump right into this motion hearing transcript dated October 4th, 2021. And we're going to start with the highlighted sentence just to break this shit down. I have now been informed last Wednesday around lunch after a meeting that I had with Investigator Moulton with the U.S. Attorney's Office that they were no longer going to handle the 39 kilos of cocaine in Bibb County. Let's pause, right? He's saying Investigator Moulton with the U.S. Attorney's Office. We know Investigator Moulton does not work for the U.S. Attorney's Office. Investigator Moulton at this time worked at the House and County Sheriff's Office. He was a sergeant. Just so happened now he's the sheriff, right? But the ADA is on the record telling the court that he talked with the U.S. Attorney's Office, with the Investigator Moulton with the U.S. Attorney's Office, and they were not going to prosecute the 39 keys in Bibb County, right? Let's go on down to this you can see it down here at the bottom, this highlight section down there. The 39 keys can be handled in Bibb County as trafficking. So basically they're saying to court, hey, Bibb County's going to convict this guy. They haven't handled it yet, but they're going to convict him, okay? They're going to charge him. They got him. They caught him with 39 keys in Bibb County, all right? Let's go on to the next. Watch this shit. Now, the first line up there, that's the judge talking. He says, Stan, was you're removing, I'm looking at Mr. Winter comes in, it will be the March 4th. So basically, they're removing the March 4th arrest out of this indictment and re-indicting him on the new indictment, right? And Macon's going to charge him. That's why we're taking that out. And Macon's going to charge him, right? So let's go to this next part. And this is where he tried to clean shit up and try to, watch, here he come. And just for the record, Judge, I believe the case law is clear. If the defendant had entered a plea or been convicted of that prior to this indictment, the state would be clear to use that as predicated act here. So basically what he's saying is, all right, Macon gonna charge him with the 39 keys, right? And we're gonna use that as predicated acts to get him here. But they ain't convicted him yet. They ain't even convicted him yet. But this is where this motherfucker go fuck up at right here. I have spoken to other attorneys who have handled this more than I do. There's a concern about, since this case has not been handled, the Macon case hasn't been handled, right? It hasn't been handled. Let me stop real quick. Of course it hasn't been handled. The motherfucker been dropped 18 months prior to this October 4th, 2021 motion hearing. Here's the letter. So he's talking about a case that's already been dropped, and he's using it as predicated acts to re-indict him. Lying in court. Now let's go back to what he's talking about. Again, them charges already dropped. He's talking like they're gonna convict him or if he took a plea. Bullshit. But go down to that last sentence where the highlight is. There's a concern about saying that case has not been handled since we are the same jurisdiction if we can go the other way. Who the same jurisdiction? You and Macon? When the fuck that happened? When the House and County and Bibb County become the same jurisdiction? House and County Judicial Circuit and the Macon Judicial Circuit are two totally different jurisdictions, right? Then he go down at the bottom, I would say, Judge, some of these predicated acts, subsequent predicated acts don't involve this defendant. Of course not, it don't. They didn't come into the case until February the 13th, right? And then less than 3 weeks later, y'all got the Mexican cartel. Come on, bullshit. But the March 4th, that date is relevant. That's the date of the arrest, but you take it out the indictment. How does that make sense? And then you claiming Bibb County and House and County as the same jurisdiction on the record. And look what the court say. He don't even correct him. Oh, of course, 86, well, that's a lot of reference to 85, I guess in the paragraphs that follow. I would say, Judge, some of those, you see, he's trying to clean this shit up. I'm a firm believer that the judge, the DA, the clerk, with all this prosecutorial misconduct, ain't no way the left hand didn't know what the right hand was doing. There's no way.